Hi friends, I'm Shweta. You know me, but you don't know one more thing. I'm an MDR TB survivor. I started this section Let's Talk TB to explore the unraveled. Unraveled because most of us are actually not known to these experiences, to these emotions that MDR TB fighters and tuberculosis fighters and survivors are facing. They also need some platform to come out to speak about their emotions, what they went through, and what they are still going through. Being into clinical psychology, we need to first understand what that person has gone through to actually empathize and understand their condition and be in their shoes to know and help them better. On my first video, I have invited Keuri Bhanushali, and she has been an MDR TB survivor. Let's hear her story.
And here is Keuri with us today, who is going to share her own experience, and we will also learn something from her, right? So hi Keuri.
Hi.
And let's talk about you. I mean, actually, you got contracted. Which year did you get contracted?
It was quite a long back, but the things haven't changed much. I contracted TB in 2008. It is a long time back. Then I was 26-year-old, and initially it was considered as a sensitive TB, which I thought I'll take medicine for 6 months and everything will be fine. But unfortunately, my doctor with his medication and all couldn't cure me after 6 months, and then he switched me on to second line treatment, for which I have to go to another doctor because now that thing was outside his scope of competence.
Mm-hmm.
So, and because of that, it took me like 3 years to be TB free instead of like 6 months, which is a normal course of treatment.
And when was it identified? Like after how much duration that it was the second line treatment?
It was like what main problem with my treatment was like efforts were not measured. What medicines I'm taking and how it is like working on me, it was not appropriately maybe measured, and that was the main reason why till 10 months we didn't came to know that whether the drugs are effective on me or not. After 10 months I got some cold abscess, it's called cold abscess, and then we came to know that okay, the whatever TB, I had an extra pulmonary TB. It was a lymph node TB. So after 10 months, we came to know that okay, the size of the lymph node, instead of decreasing, it expanded. So then we did other biopsy and sent my whatever it is called for culture, and then we came to know that now we have to switch on to second line treatment. It was like that.
Okay. Coming to the type of TB, can you explain like what you mentioned, extra pulmonary TB? So what is it and what type of TB it was, and whether it was, when you were saying second line, then what does it mean?
See, there are two types of TB as per I know. One is pulmonary TB, which is of lungs, and another is extra pulmonary TB, which happens to other parts of the body besides lungs. It is not in lungs. Pulmonary TB is an infectious TB, they say, and extra pulmonary, it's like it's in your body part, so it is limited up to you. It's not something anybody else can get infected with that. So for me, it was lymph node TB. It was like somewhere on my chest wall.
What type of, like, I think it's MDR if you are going on a second line TB.
First line treatment is like most of the time during then, we didn't have means through which we can measure that what type of TB we had. But now we have. We can directly comes to know what type of TB you have and what kind of drugs you are resistant to. All this machine, all these gadgets are now available. Then they were not
Mhm.
there. For me, this test was not available. They say that, and therefore I have to take all medicines for the first line treatment. But because it was not working on me, then after 10 months they just switch me on to the second line treatment. Second line treatments are mostly with injections.
So we are talking about MDR treatment here, and MDR is multi-drug resistant, where the patient is
Yeah,
actually resistant to few of the drugs which are uh, available to treat TB. So then it becomes a multi-drug resistant, and the treatment for it changes.
yeah,
So, Keori, what was the total duration of your treatment? You mentioned 3 years, so exactly it was like
yeah.
3 years.
It was in parts. As I told you, it was in parts. For first 10 months, they gave me first line treatment, and
Mhm.
for then next 2 years, I have to take second line treatment with different doctor. Of course, the same doctor didn't continue. It was like
And
in parts.
any side effects you are still facing, or how?
Luckily, I didn't have any side effects. Means I had during that phase of time for like 15 days or for 15 days, because those drugs are but those drugs and injections are heavy.
Mm.
So I had that nausea, I had that pimples all over my face, and all these problems I had then. But luckily, I didn't develop any other side effect later. I personally think the side effects differ from people to people.
Mhm.
In everything we see these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you manage like all your job? You know, whether you were working that time, and whether you were a
Then
student.
during my treatment I wasn't working, but yes, managing was like family were taking care of my expenses then for all this treatment. So I luckily didn't have to bother about like earning and putting money into medicines. But this is something a problem which a regular TB patient face, because so luckily I didn't have all these issues. But yes, managing the side effect is what I have to do it. Like, for example, you have to understand for example, I was not able to retain anything in my stomach. Everything used to come out.
Mhm.
So I kept it, means then I realized that it was like idli or dosa I can eat, and these are the only things which I used to eat, because only these things I used to retain. So you have to make accordingly some choices where what you should eat and what you can retain. Rest
Mhm.
of the things, I think it's not in our hand. We have to endure those side effects.
Correct. There are many people in the groups, in the MDR TB and the tuberculosis groups as well, that I spoke to, and they wanted to know like how did you manage your, whether you were studying, and how the impact was on your normal life.
I wasn't working then, so that aspect is rolled out. Yeah, I was like quite isolated in a way. I hid myself from all the people. Like I was feeling not good because I had TB, and it
Mm.
is always thought that TB is an infectious disease and all. Though I knew it is not an infectious disease, my kind, but then too, it's not a good feeling. It's like because the treatment is so long that for such a long period, you know that you are not well,
Mm.
and no one likes to be like nobody likes to have this kind of a feeling that I'm not well. I had to struggle with this kind of feeling for a longer time. Then of course as time passes, everything like we come everything comes back to normal.
Mhm.
For me it was like that.
So let's talk about mental health during this phase, and that's very important when it comes to mental health. That's the most impacted during the chronic illnesses because of the duration of the treatments,
Yeah,
and even after the duration, it's like till the end we have to wait for the final reports to show normal, and then
yeah,
only it's considered that okay, it's end of the treatment. So the span is not fixed for a person. It depends
yeah.
person to person.
Yeah, actually, it's like that. They say that MDR TB takes 2 years for completion, and this sensitive TB, drug sensitive TB takes like 6 months or 9 months for completion. But whomever I met, they like faced more than that much of amount of time to declare themselves as a TB free people. Some of them like took some 7 years, 8 years,
Yeah.
to get themselves TB free. So it's a very challenging time because you don't know what's going to happen, and it is very much difficult for those whose first time treatment went wrong, because now you are like lost interest. Not now you lost like trust kind of thing on doctors. I don't know what he's doing and what will happen, whether his treatment will be like right or wrong, because we as a lay people don't know anything about
Yes.
medicines and all. So it's very uncertain time period. You are always like, for certain amount of time, you're always worried whether this medicine which I'm taking, will this work now or will it not work? That kind of thinking, that kind of thoughts also
Doubtful.
come. Doubtful. You're always in a doubt, whatever I'm taking, whether it will work or not. But yes, after a certain time, it will go away. Then you will be like, follow your doctor regularly, and because it happens. But for a certain months, you will feel like, oh my God, what if this doesn't work? What will I do? It's kind of feeling.
So, what were your initial symptoms, Gauri? You were in certain kind of lifestyle, okay? Maybe you were in
Yeah.
college or like that. So, how
Hmm.
did it start, and when did you come to know there is
Ma-
something wrong going on?
it was like, you know what? I during this happened. I used to always develop cough during Diwali period. And I used to go to my regular family doctor and get medicines and get it sorted. Every year it used to happen, and we used to think that it's some kind of an allergy. It was an allergy in a way. I was allergic to something, some food items during those days, whichever I had.
Okay.
But in 2008, this my coughing started again during Diwali time, and it wasn't going. It wasn't going. And then after having regular medicines, I developed fever. I developed fever, and my coughing was not going at all. Then my doctor asked me to have X-ray, and he found something that, oh my God, there is some problem, and he addressed that problem to MD of my locality,
Uh-huh.
other doctor of my locality, and I went there, and then he asked me to do CT scan and yeah, some empty
Yeah.
tuberculin test, and all. From there, he concluded that yes, it's final that you are having TB,
Okay.
and he was thankful that it was not cancer. He said that it's not cancer. And I don't know what to say, whether I should be relieved because it was not a cancer, or I should be happy that it was a tuberculosis. It
Yeah.
was really a bit of confusion, because I was like completely unaware of both the disease, and I definitely didn't want any of this disease. Nobody wants. So
Exactly.
it was like that. Then my treatment started, and we were like following to the T whatever he used to say. It was nothing like I didn't do what he asked me to do, and I also never questioned him back. Like, we don't know, na. He says do this, we'll do this. Like, we didn't know to ask him that. You are not taking X-rays regularly. You are not taking this. We cannot ask them,
Hmm.
because we don't do in India. I think we don't ask for doctors. We believe that they know what they are doing.
Yeah.
So
When
that
we
was
talk
my
about,
case.
yeah, that's correct. It's the trust that we put in.
Yeah.
And when we talk about lymph node, Keuri, let's come to that. That what is lymph node exactly, and what was your biopsy experience? So biopsy is a
Oh,
surgery.
yeah. It is we call it surgery, but they call it procedure. It's
Yeah.
like a 15 minutes procedure. And mine, it happened twice. For the first time when my lymph node swelled. Earlier, I
Okay.
had a lymph node TB, but it was like within my chest wall.
Mm.
But after 10 months, instead of subsiding, that lymph node swelled up. It's like you can see here. It's like wasn't visible here. When you touch this chest wall, you can feel that bulge.
Mhm.
So I was like, what is this? Like, what is this? Is something weird. I noticed that. What is this? I showed it to my mama and my family, and then we went to my family doctor. I said, "What is this, sir? This is something unusual." And he was terrified by that. He was like, "Oh my God, just tell that your doctor, get your first line doctor to call me and discuss with me this." I went there immediately without taking any appointment or anything. I went there immediately. I told that, what is this? This is something weird. And then he talked with, he was also like, oh my God, what happened? And then we went for that procedure. And then they sent that fluid to culture, and then it came back and it was like finalized that this is now progressed to something MDR treatment. Matlab, whatever drugs you are taking right now is of no use. And I was like, okay, now what to do? Then luckily I had some good karma that I could get immediate appointment of my second line doctor and I could reach there, because my second line doctor, you have to like wait for months to get his appointment. But luckily I could get his appointment on an immediate basis. So that was something good karma, I can say.
So
So
when you
that's how
talk
it
about,
went.
all the support that you have received during the phase, whether it's your family, your friends, your relatives. So let's discuss that in India, when it comes to TB, everyone is like, okay, you should not talk anything. You should not talk to anybody. Nobody should know.
I had
What
a
was it?
great family in that way. My family or my extended family, in a way, I had a great in that way. People around me were like very supportive, and I didn't have many friends, so like this didn't bother me much even then.
Mm.
But yeah, I was been said that, yeah, you. It was not said, but it's like kind of an implied. It's not said that you have to hide this thing. It's you. For example, we get that empty tuberculin mark
Yes, yeah,
when we do.
on the skin.
So that is like I was always concerned of hiding it. Nobody should know that this mark is over here. Now I'm not bothered, but nobody tells you that you have to hide it. But sometimes I think it's called self stigma, if I'm not wrong. That was my case. It was completely self stigma, and this is how I used to hide from people, and never used to tell, okay, I had this TB and like that. So this was my case. That's it.
When we talk to the doctors and these medical practitioners involved in the treatment in the whole, so we expect a little bit of empathy from them, during the treatment, that they should show
Oh.
some empathy to the patient and listen to them, because they are really emotionally disturbed at that point of time. So what would you suggest? Like, they should, have some emotional counseling available as well for TB patients.
Yeah, emotional counselors, psychologists, psychotherapists, therapists, they should be like part of this regime. See, besides drugs, they should be the part of because they know medicine, I mean, they know something about medicine, and the patient is completely ignorant, and they know human mind, and they know that is very much because after taking those drugs at many points, many people, because every people face different side effects, wants to like leave the treatment because it is side effects are like intolerable for many. So at that time you need them, and many times when you want to talk to someone, you need a counselor and doctor. TB doctor, to be honest, they don't have that much time to like
Yeah.
address each and every person. So another specialist, the one who is specializing in this particular area, is absolutely needed. Besides that, counselor should be part of the regimen, whatever MDR or whatever other regimens are there. It should be like, it's very important.
Right. On our channel, we have, all the future counselors and psychologists here who are right now studying. And what suggestions you can pass on to them when, they are dealing with patients or who are already suffering so much. And when they speak to them, when they, like have a session with
Yeah.
them? There should be certain way of communicating to them.
First of all, the patient, they all are already are dealing with their disease. They won't be able to come out and tell what they are suffering inside. It is difficult because everybody is not that articulated to talk what they think.
Yeah.
And some people like think, why should I expose my negative, not negative, actually weaker side in front of people. They will not even do in front of psychologist or anybody. They'll keep it to themselves, and it's how they are. Like, they were always like this. You cannot change people immediately, but psychologist or counselor, you should, I don't know how, but in some way know to bring out that thing from them. I don't know, by talking to them or by asking them do something which they love or whatever way you have. But you should know to take out such things from them. You should talk, and of course that is how you can ask people to open up. But still, it's a very difficult nut to crack because some people will not open up. They will open up at their own time, like me. Even I took a long time to talk about it. I started talking about TB in 2016 and I had in 2008. So it's different. Like,
When we talk about emotional health, it's very important that we have a cheerful time, which is very much impossible during this treatment. It's like very difficult for the person to already follow the regime and then follow some extracurricular activities along with the health that that person is struggling with. So what were your like hobbies or any activities that you followed to keep up with the treatment?
I thought personally I did writing. I always keep a book with me, and I have a very bad habit of just opening the book and writing. Whatever I feel, I write. And this is like from the beginning I used to do. But after this TB, I developed this habit more energetically, we can say, or I just developed this habit because then whenever I want to talk or whenever I want to express, I used to write. And now I have developed, like, I've chosen something where I write daily. So it's like that. So even, I don't know, everybody loves writing. Many people don't love writing, but definitely there is something everyone loves. Somebody loves doing doodling. Somebody loves doing listening music or playing sport, or I think playing sport is too not possible, but anything, exercise, anything. I personally love doing exercise and writing. These are my, like, I can do it at any time. I love doing it. It's like that.
So, Keuri, after your treatment, did you face any issues like traveling anywhere? Do you face any limitations anywhere?
For me, luckily, it was not the case because I didn't have that lung TB. So the marks of it were not there. But I have heard that there are many people who are having that lung TB, pulmonary TB. I think they were facing that restriction. Means at some countries, they're like, they were withheld from going. And I've heard that they had that problem. But I've never been to any countries, but I have heard all these stories from that group Survivor Against TB organization.
Yeah.
So they had that problem because everywhere TB is considered is always sort of an infectious disease and nobody wants it. So the people prefer, instead of sorting the problem, they prefer to stay away from it. So they had such kind. I've heard about this kind of problems, but luckily I didn't have any side effects or anything which is visible. You can't even say that I had TB, though I have like surgery mark over on my chest wall, but it's like not visible.
Correct.
It was that's it. I had nothing more.
You mentioned about an organization that you were connected to.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that and what kind of work they are involved in? How does that help?
I know about them is like they allow you to talk about your story. They ask you to talk about your story on channels, and then when there were no travel restriction, they used to. I once or twice I spoke at some public event, which So yeah, they encourage you to speak about it so that you just come out of it, and it also gives you some confidence. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. And they share your stories, and they ask you to participate in all these TB awareness programs and events, and all this they do.
That's
There are
right.
many survivors with that organization, and they encourage each and everyone to do. It's like whoever comes like that.
Right. After your experience, Kaori, you must be having, and a specific diet and some sort of
Um,
health restrictions that you follow. Can you tell
I
us about
don't,
it?
yeah, sure. I personally, I am like, I do exercise daily. I love doing it because it makes me very happy, first of all, and it also keeps you in good shape. So that is the biggest motivation, and it also makes you happy. And this is the only thing which like gives result instantly. The first day you do exercise, you will feel that difference. This is the
Hmm.
only field where I feel that you get result very fast. Rest all field, yeah, you have to like toil for so many years, and then you start seeing some results.
Hmm.
And diet, yeah, I used to follow as I now I'm very much conscious about what I eat, how I spend my time, and very much my life revolves around my health, to be honest.
Hmm.
I have to keep that because I don't want to fall ill again, because falling ill is like botheration on everything. Now if I fall ill, even I have to take care of my expenses, then parents and everybody took care of it.
Correct.
So now I'm more concerned to not fall ill. So
Hmm.
that's what I do. I go for walk, I do exercise, I eat nutritious food. I make it a point that I'm very conscious while I eat. I take proteins properly, I take carbs properly. Everything you should know what you are eating. In a short, you should know what you are eating. You should do mindful eating.
Correct.
That's very important. That's it.
Right. So that's how, I mean, we are also concentrating on the health factor here. Emotional health and also your physical health is very important when we are dealing with the chronic illnesses. And most of the people just don't feel like eating. Tuberculosis has the first symptom that you lose the appetite
Right.
and you lose the weight. So the appetite is lost, and when you are trying to eat something, you don't actually feel like eating it, and you have to forcefully feed yourself because you have to consume those medicines.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's correct. So the family support is very important here.
Very
You can,
important.
yeah. Can you tell me how, like, your family has tried to support you all through this phase?
They were very supportive. In fact, I used to get what as I told you earlier, I was like completely on Italy, dosa, and all this South Indian things.
Hmm.
I could,
Less
I only
spicy.
had liking for that.
Yeah.
So that was my, when it's like, whenever I want anything, I used to tell and I used to get it. It was like
Mm.
that. But it's not the case with everybody. But for me, it was like that.
Okay.
I was a tremendous family support, like, and everybody should get, because see, patient is not well. If you are not giving that person the support, that person will never going to come out of this disease, and it's pointless to not support a patient. It's in everybody's interest to support a patient. It's like that.
That's correct. So, coming to the end of the session, finally, I want to hear from you, Keori. What would you suggest others when it comes to emotional counseling during this phase and these treatments? One should communicate to another person or an organization or somebody. How important is that?
Now there are many organizations, many groups. There are that TB patient, earlier TB patient talking to TB patient, all kind of groups are there. But yeah, I personally prefer human to human connection is more important. For example, if somebody had survived TB, and when you talk to them, you can really relate to that person, and that's kind of an hope. that okay, she cured TB, so there is a hope that even I'll get cured. But on top of that, besides that, yes, they can give you a hope. You need a trained person, specifically trained person, psychologist, therapist, or psychiatrist. You also need them. So you should not shy away to take their help. It's very important to go there and talk with them. And the most important thing, if you are not able to come out with your feeling, make it a point that whenever you had that any kind of feeling, note it down in your way, in your piece of paper. And whenever you go to your doctor's appointment, whenever you go to your psychologist, you just tell them and show that sheet to that person that this feelings I had. And maybe that person will be able to evaluate much faster and much accurate, maybe.
Yeah, that's very important. So when we talk about tuberculosis patients, it's not only just the medicines that are important during the phase, it's the emotional support, the proper health care, proper food, and most important is the communication that they need to make around their people, and they need to pour out their feelings and get a little lighter, because otherwise you will lose that hope and that path for the future. If you get stuck in the present, then the future becomes little blurred. So we really thank Kayuri to join here and express all her emotions, all her feelings, and share all the experiences that she has had. So we wish you all the good luck, Kayuri, and great health, and take care of yourselves during this pandemic also, and otherwise also.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you then, Kayuri. Bye.
Bye.
If you are liking my channel, liking my videos, please do hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. According to the analytics, you are just viewing the videos but not subscribing. Also, there is a sign up option where you can let me know what all important aspects you want me to cover in the videos. See you then in the next video. Bye bye and take care in this pandemic.